In 2023, the executives behind Vanderpump Rules ran into a structural flaw in their production system. They realized you cannot edit a redemption arc for a subject who is completely incapable of self-reflection. Following the explosive cheating scandal that dominated national headlines, the show's geographic epicenter in West Hollywood was left in a strange holding pattern. The network was pulling in the highest ratings in its history, yet the core ensemble cast was fractured, with members refusing to even speak to one another. To keep the narrative moving forward, production required their primary antagonist to drive the storyline. They needed him to apologize, show contrition, and reintegrate into the group. The entire upcoming season hinged on his ability to play along. This placed immense corporate pressure squarely on the production control room. The producers were tasked with orchestrating a rapid, seamless public rehabilitation to piece their fractured cast back together and secure the franchise's future. When a reality television machine loses its organic momentum, the people behind the cameras have to force the issue. They either manufacture a storyline that pulls everyone back into the same room, or the show simply ceases to exist. Production deployed a standard rehabilitation blueprint: transition the antagonist from villain to isolation to sympathy and finally redemption. Editors executed the first phase by framing Tom Sandoval as a pathetic figure, emphasizing his social exile in empty rooms. Next, production leaned on a mental health narrative. Lisa Vanderpump stepped in to enforce the storyline, lobbying the cast to show grace, using reports of his fragile mental state to pressure them into resuming filming. But the viewers were watching in what amounts to a digital panopticon. Armed with podcasts, rapid TikTok breakdowns, and behind-the-scenes leaks, the audience tracked every move. They quickly recognized these editing choices as calculated attempts to protect corporate investments. Viewers have become so fluent in the language of reality television that standard editing tricks no longer work. What was designed to look like a natural path to forgiveness read entirely as corporate desperation. The primary point of failure in this entire system, however, was Tom Sandoval himself. He demonstrated an absolute inability to adopt the required narrative framework, relying instead on a loop of defensive deflection, self-victimization, and a total lack of emotional perspective. A redemption arc requires the subject to perform genuine submission to the edit by validating the pain they caused. Sandoval's constant complaining and defensive posturing actively starved the editors of the footage they needed to complete the loop. His detachment from reality was permanently documented in a February 2024 profile for the New York Times Magazine, elevating scrutiny directly to the national press. During the interview, Sandoval compared the media attention of his cheating scandal to the murder of George Floyd and the criminal trial of O.J. Simpson. The resulting public relations disaster drew instant condemnation from fans and fellow Bravo personalities alike. Producers can string together all the lonely reaction shots they want, but a forced rehabilitation narrative collapses the exact moment the subject refuses to play the role of the penitent sinner. As the public backlash to Sandoval's press tour intensified, the rest of the legacy cast recognized the network's planned storyline was failing. They began to panic about the future of the show, and by extension, their own incomes. This led to blatant self-producing. Cast members like Lala Kent began manufacturing on-camera outrage, and Sheena Shea shifted alliances, starting arguments strictly to secure their seasonal paychecks and guarantee screen time. The ensemble then made a coordinated on-camera attempt to corner Ariana Madix. They needed her to film a final conversation with Sandoval, hoping a forced confrontation would provide closure to the season's messy narrative. Madix flatly refused to participate, walking away from the ambush and explicitly stating to the producers that she would not act as a cog in her ex-partner's redemption storyline, actively denying the network its required ending. When the cast explicitly prioritizes their commercial survival over having authentic reactions, the transactional nature of their relationships is laid bare. The illusion shatters. The season 11 finale in San Francisco captured the exact moment the machinery broke down. The forced apology ambush fell apart in real time, completely demolishing the fourth wall as cast members screamed about their paychecks and the necessity of filming difficult conversations. The facade was finally destroyed by a hot mic moment. After Madix walked out, Tom Schwartz muttered that the situation was a plot twist. Sandoval smiled, laughed, and replied, "I love it. It's good for me." That single line confirmed to the audience that every attempt at contrition had been calculated. The absolute exposure of the production mechanics left Bravo with an unworkable television show, forcing executives to take drastic action. In November 2024, the network executed a total franchise purge. They fired the entire legacy ensemble, migrating a few aging cast members to a spin-off, and announced that Season 12 of Vanderpump Rules would feature an entirely new group of restaurant employees. A reality television series is a ruthless, self-preserving machine. It will elevate ordinary people to massive fame and wealth, but it will also sacrifice its most iconic stars the exact second they transition from valuable assets into depreciating liabilities.